Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm JC and today's video is my PrepTober plan video. My plans for PrepTober, and I am going to share with you just a few of the things that I need to finish to get ready for NaNoWriMo. So I think I said it before, the project that I'm working on for Nano is The Weight of Her. My I guess it's an adult contemporary fiction. Yeah, adult contemporary fiction novel. And it's about a woman. I really should write up the shorts. Not, yeah, anyway, that's a part of the outlining process, or the end of it anyway. But about a woman who is holding on to a whole bunch of emotional baggage and scars from her childhood trauma, and she's tried to push all of that away for like a couple of decades. She hasn't talked to her mother in those couple of decades since she ran away from home at 16. Actually, she hasn't really talked to her mother since a year after that. So she's 35 in the novel. So nearly 2 decades she hasn't spoken to her mother. Probably hasn't spoken to her older sister in nearly a decade. Nearly a decade. So she has a lot of, she's very guarded, and she has a lot of emotional issues, and she's married, so it kind of makes it to wonder she ever really got married. Did she ever let anyone in that long enough to actually get married to them? But she really loves her husband. She just doesn't show it in all of the best ways. But her husband really wants to start a family. She has told him that she wants ready to start a family, but she hadn't exactly done what she said she has been doing to get ready to start a family. So he finds out she's lied about being on birth control. She's still on it. He thought she wasn't. It stems from her feeling like she either doesn't deserve to be a mother, or wouldn't make a good mother because of the issues that stem from her childhood. All comes crashing down on her with all the lies and the secrets she's been telling when her mother shows up at her door, basically to tell her she's dying. And at first she's cold, she doesn't care, she kicks her mother out. Her husband is the one who, after finding out that her mother was not dead, as she has told everyone that her family was basically dead and that she had no family, and in her mind they were dead to her. But so her husband kind of gets over quickly the lie that she told about her mother being dead and her father being dead. Well, her father is she thinks her father is dead. The mother is she's been suffering from bipolar depressive disorder since her first child, her sister, and she's been on and off medication. She doesn't really like the way the medication makes her feel, so she's more off than on. And what I've done a lot of research on the fact that people with bipolar depressive disorder tend to get a case of early onset Alzheimer's, and it kind of when you're not on your medication the way you're supposed to stay on your medication, it sort of speeds up the process as possible. So there's more research that I have to do on that, but in my initial research, that is kind of what I've found. So she has Alzheimer's, so she's dying, and her Alzheimer's is actually progressing rather rapidly. So she's losing memories, and her mother is trying to come make amends and atone for the things that she's done. And Brennan, that's the main character's name, is Brennan. She's not ready to hear any of that, at least not at first. And eventually her husband actually convinces her to bring her to their house and let her stay and kind of maybe get to know the woman her mother is now and hear her out. And in all of this time, the sister ends up popping up at her house too, and she discovers a lot of things about her mother's childhood that she never knew and her mother never talked about. And in how do I put this? In the losing of her in the losing of her current memories, the mother, goes back to the past a lot. And she starts to remember things from the past or speak as if she's in the past moments and not in the present moments. And so she starts to learn things about her childhood, how strict her parents were, the fact that her mother witnessed her father commit suicide in front of her. So, things that her mother was, her mother was molested by a family friend, which also left a lot of trauma on her. That coupled with having to witness her father's suicide. Her mother's mother was also abusive, but more in an emotional way, not a physical, not just, well, her mother wasn't abusive physically. She was more abusive emotionally. Whereas Brennan's mother, the one who, she was more all around abusive, physical, emotional, and mental. But her mother, Lauren, was all just emotionally abused by her mother. Her father was in the military, so she was really strict. And again, he committed suicide in front of her after she had been molested by a family friend for a few years. So her mother didn't deal with all of that trauma either. And then on top of that, she is bipolar. So she didn't get diagnosed until she was in her 20s after she had her first child. So a lot of things going on there. Brennan learns a lot about her mother that she never knew, and it sheds a new light on her in her eyes. And so she can slowly start to let some of those walls down and slowly come to a place of forgiveness. And I think I've mentioned before that this has a lot to do with the right to die. And her mother basically sought her out because she wants her to help her die, but she wanted to make amends first. And she didn't seek the sister out because the sister and her have had a relationship, which is one of the reasons why Brennan stopped talking to her sister, because she couldn't accept that her sister had just forgiven her for everything and had gotten past it and moved on as if none of the past had never happened. And she just couldn't deal with her sister anymore because she wanted her sister to be as mad as she was. And she wasn't. So she stopped talking to her sister. But so her sister and her mother have had a relationship, and she didn't feel like she needed to make amends to her sister because her sister had already forgiven her. But with Brennan, she hadn't even spoken to her in nearly 2 decades. So she came to her because she needed to make amends. She needed forgiveness, and she wanted her to be the one to help her die. She felt that Brennan was the most like her, wanting to do things on her own terms, not wanting anyone else to tell her how something was going to go about her life. And Brennan is very much like that. And so the basis of my story, the title comes from the fact that the trauma and everything that her mother put her and her sister through has had a lot of weight on her over her years. Like, it's weighed on a lot of the decisions she's made. There are decisions that she's made only because of her childhood was like this, and her, she doesn't think she'd be a good mother because her mother wasn't a good mother. And there are lots of decisions that she's been making because of past issues that she can't let go of. So, and I personally am attached to some of that because it took a long time for me to forgive my mother for the abuse that I suffered as a child. So that part of the story, while this is not an autobiographical story at all, that part of it is, personal to me because I can relate. But this is basically about the issues that childhood trauma can have on a person way into their adulthood. And it's easy to say that people should be able to let that stuff go and you should be able to move on quickly, but it's not that easy to do. So that is the general basis of my story. So for PrepTober, I need to finish this outline so that on November 1st I can be ready to just write the novel. So there are about six things that I need to do to finish, and one is the character sketches, and I need to finish up the backstory, and I'm hoping to have that done. I guess the first week of October is actually already over. Does it count? Because it's not a full week. Anyway, this week, hopefully, I'll get that done. Then I need to finish up my chapter by chapter outline. I'm already at chapter 4, so I'm moving along. It's also sectioned off by the seasons. There's like, there's winter, spring, summer, and fall. And so I've sectioned, and then there's winter again, which is after she helps her mom die. And yeah, that's a whole nother part of it. But so it goes from winter to winter, and there's a few chapters every season, and that's kind of how I'm doing it. So, and then number 3 is I need to finish the research, finish researching Alzheimer's disease, and I need to finish, number 4 is I need to finish researching bipolar depressive disorder and its connection, because while I've researched the connection on a surface level, I want to dig a little deeper into the research so that I can make sure that I'm not inaccurate in any of the information that I present. Obviously, you guys know when you do research, most of the research never really makes it in the novel, but you still want to do a thorough deep dive on the research so that you can have all your ducks in a row and make sure everything is connected and is together and you're not presenting any inaccurate information, because I definitely don't want to do that. So number 5, I need to figure out the issues regarding the setting, because I don't necessarily want to set it in the state that I live in, which is Maryland. One, Maryland doesn't have a right to die law. You can't do that, so, and it's not legal in Maryland to do that. So I want to set it in a state where it is legal to do that. There aren't that many, so I'm arguably going to have to set it in a state that I have never actually been to. So that's fun. So that means I have to create a fictional town surrounded by some real towns, which involves research yet again. It's like if I set it in, I don't think California, I don't know if California has that law there, but if, like, just for an example, if I set it in California, it'll be a fictional town, but I still have to make sure I know certain parts about LA or, San Francisco, or things around in California that are real that the reader can tap into. And it's not like I can create a whole new state, or can I? No, this is not fantasy, I can't do that. So yeah, setting and location is something else I need to figure out, but I'm going to finish the character sketches in the chapter by chapter so I can at least have all that together. And the last thing, number 6, is that I have to type everything up and print it out, because I like my outlines printed out. And for I'm gonna try to, I should have filled this out before I showed this to you, but I have a little calendar that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna fill out what I plan on doing pertaining to my outline on each day, so I can keep track of my progress on getting my outline done. I think it'll help me to finish it in the time that I need to finish it in, so that I don't have the problem. I was supposed to finish this outline in Camp NaNoWriMo. That didn't happen, I think, because I wasn't more prepared. So I think this will help me organize what I need to do to finish the outline, and on the days that I need to work on them, or the weeks that it'll take to work on them. So that's it for this video. If you like what you see and you want to see more videos from me, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and let me know in the comment section, what are your plans for PrepTober? How do you prepare or get yourself ready for NaNoWriMo? What aspects of your novel outline do you like to have wrapped up before you begin writing, or are you a planter and just plan on? What do you planters do in October during Preptober? I'm just curious. Yeah, let me know. Until next time, have a blessed day. Bye.